Us on WFMY Plus. Keep it right here for the rest of today and through tomorrow to get the latest updates on a soaking rain event that has already arrived in our part of the Piedmont. So far, no flooding, but we couldn't rule out maybe some pockets of flash flooding as more rain accumulates. We'll take a look at some pretty impressive rainfall totals so far coming up in just a minute. But with the anticipation, or at least the chance of some pockets of flash flooding, your forecast team has issued a weather impact alert for today through tomorrow. Now this is going to be pretty much a continuous rain. It may let up occasionally and then kind of fire back up and in spots be a little heavier, but it will be rain. There may be a rumble of thunder. Not really concerned about severe storms or anything like that. The atmosphere is really pretty stable and pretty cool. We're going to see temperatures only in the mid and upper 60s for highs today and into the lower 70s tomorrow. But certainly no doubt the rain gear, the umbrella, is going to get a big time workout between now and late Wednesday with this very slow moving system. So you'll need the rain gear, and if you have to drive, headed to work in the morning, and even when you get off work in the evening, you're going to encounter potentially some heavy downpours and some ponding of water on the streets and highways. And it only takes just a little bit of rain and a little standing water to create hydroplaning conditions. So just be aware of that. Bottom line, between now and late Wednesday, just be extra careful as you're out driving. And we have really pretty high probabilities of rain over the next several days. A near 100% chance of rain for today through tonight, and still pretty high tomorrow. 70% chance of more rain coming up on Tuesday. And then we start to see at least some very gradual improvements as we go into the middle and especially the latter part of the week. But even on Wednesday, still a 50% chance of, I think, what will turn out to be more in the way of scattered showers rather than a general rain for our part of the Piedmont. And our models are suggesting that the atmosphere will continue to dry as our stubborn, slow-moving area of low pressure finally starts to track to the northeast of our area. Now, we're not going to completely take any rain out of the forecast, but by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, maybe a pop-up shower storm in the afternoon, because as you'll see on the 7-day forecast in just a minute, we're going to crank up the heat with additional sunshine later this week, about mid-80s on Thursday, and by Friday, most of the Piedmont could get pretty close to the 90-degree mark. Of course, all eyes have been on radar so far this morning. Earlier this morning, when we got together and talked about the weather, we saw some heavier downpours over South Carolina and eastern Georgia. That batch of rain is right over our area now. But look at this. There's more rain to the south over South Carolina and Georgia, tracking generally to the north and just slightly to the northwest. And that makes total sense because our surface low and our upper level low is out to our west. So we talk about the counterclockwise wind circulation around low pressure. And this is a favored setup to really tap in some deep layer moisture off of the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf Stream, and also eastern areas of the Gulf of Mexico. And this pattern is going to be really slow to break down. Again, to our south, more of this activity, even into Georgia, more rain that will be pivoting our way over the next 12 to 24 hours. But a closer inspection of what's going on in our area, we're seeing some pockets of heavy rain start to move into southern areas of Guilford County now. Again, this is not severe weather, but certainly just pockets of heavier rain that could potentially later on lead to some flash flooding, but certainly producing some standing water on the streets and highways. But some of the heaviest rain over the past 30 to 45 minutes has been in the eastern areas of Randolph County. Asheboro's already had 3/4 of an inch of rain this morning since midnight. Ramseur and Staley are getting wet, and some of this is pivoting into the Siler City area. So western areas areas of Chatham County. Be on the lookout for some heavy downpours over the next hour or so as these rain elements continue to track on to the north. The numbers continue to go up. As the rain falls, the numbers go up. And these are the rainfall totals in our area since midnight for the calendar day Monday. 0.34 at PTI, Charlotte's Douglas Airport, about 1/2 inch of rain, a little over a 1/4 inch of rain over at Raleigh-Durham, but look at Boone, over 1 inch of rain there. But look down in South Carolina. Now earlier this morning, that's where the heaviest rain was. Over 2.5 inches has been reported just today in Columbia and 1.32 over at Augusta, Georgia. But check out Smith Reynolds Airport in Winston-Salem, where they've had just over 1 inch of rain. Here at PTI, 0.34, 0.39 over at Lexington, 1/2 inch of rain over at Wilkesboro, and about 1/2 inch of rain over at Statesville. It's this stubborn area of low pressure that's not moving very much at all. It's in a prime position to pull in that moisture from the Gulf and from the Atlantic Ocean. That deep layer tropical moisture is forced to lift over a warm front, and that spells rain for us. And you know, the pattern's not going to change very much. This low pressure area will very slowly drift to the north and northeast. It's a slow mover because we got to talk about the upper level low pressure system. It's a cutoff low over the southeastern United States. It's cut off from the main jet stream, and that means it's just kind of wobbling around. As long as it wobbles, that means the surface low is going to wobble. It won't be until probably late Wednesday and into Thursday that a system developing out over the Rockies heads our way and eventually kicks this system to the northeast. And that's when we'll start to see some improvements in Piedmont weather as we go into Thursday and Friday, and maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, most of the weekend will be dry. Good news here, we are not in the severe weather outlook in our part of the Piedmont, but southeastern North Carolina, most of South Carolina, the southwestern mountains of North Carolina, and around Knoxville, Tennessee, and all of Georgia, in the low end risk for maybe an isolated severe storm. And as I mentioned earlier, you could hear a rumble of thunder, but again, we do not expect severe weather for our area. What we're really watching for and what the real threat is from this particular rain event is the possibility of pockets of flash flooding. We are in the level 2 risk for the potential for flash flooding for today through tonight, the calendar day on Monday. And then as we go into Tuesday, that threat kind of lessens just a little bit, but even so, we're in the low end risk for maybe a few isolated heavier showers that could lead to some flash flooding. Now, if you've got your WFMY News 2 weather app, you already saw this come down earlier today. A flood watch has been issued for all of our viewing area in North Carolina and Southern Virginia, and that runs until 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning. If there is a threat of flooding after 8 o'clock, it is certainly a possibility that this watch will be extended. And it is just a watch, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do for you. It's just watch things and keep an eye on the radar, keep an eye on the rain rate, and see how the rain really accumulates over the next 24 hours. May see some flood warnings. Now, warning, of course, would imply that we do have some pockets of flash flooding across the area, and that's the reason that WFMY News 2 weather app is so important. Not only can you track live radar, the rain on live radar, but also any watches or warnings regarding any heavy rain and potential flooding. You'll get that in the palm of your hand. And you know what? That app is absolutely free. So download it if you haven't already. Look at the potential for rain here in our part of the Piedmont. 2 to 3 inches of rain. Now that doesn't mean everybody is going to get that kind of rain, but certainly pockets of 2 to 3 inches are a possibility. Some of the higher terrain of the Blue Ridge could get upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rain. I'm hoping that that doesn't materialize. We're not even close to these numbers yet. But again, with additional rain in the forecast through Wednesday, we're just going to continue to see the numbers move up in terms of the accumulation of rain across the area. So rain is likely for the rest of the day. Pockets of heavy rain, certainly a distinct possibility. We've already seen that this morning. Temperatures into the mid and upper 60s. Periods of rain overnight tonight. Again, some of that rain could be heavy at times as lows drop into the lower 60s, around 63. You guessed it, more rain coming up tomorrow with this very slow changing weather pattern. Rain likely on Tuesday. Temperatures inch up a little bit into the lower 70s. 7-day forecast looking like this. Of course, weather impact alert days will be with us today and tomorrow. And even though we don't have a one assigned to Wednesday, we will see what will likely turn out to be more in the way of scattered showers for the Piedmont at mid 70s. And then we're going to do our best to finally dry things out a bit for Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. But with the heating of the day each day, there may be a pop-up shower or a thunderstorm through that period. But right now we're going to go with a rather low chance of that. So the weather impact alert, just to kind of recap if you're just joining us, is for today and tomorrow. Widespread rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder. Don't expect severe weather, so that's good news. You need the rain gear. If you're out driving, be on the lookout for some ponding water on the streets and highways, and just take it easy and take your time and be extra careful driving. It only takes just a little accumulating water on the streets and highways to cause hydroplaning. Now again, high probabilities of rain right on through Wednesday, and then hopefully we start to dry things out a little bit as we go into Thursday and Friday. But even so, with temperatures heating up into the mid and upper 80s, there could be a pop-up storm towards the end of the week. One final look at the radar showing rain elements tracking from south to north. Some of the heaviest rain moving through our area right now. More to come as we go to our south. We're seeing more rain elements over South Carolina and into areas of eastern Georgia. And with our low pressure out to the west, we continue to get this moisture feed from the Gulf of Mexico and off of the Atlantic Ocean, and that is helping to really bring copious amounts of rain to our part of the Piedmont. And this pattern is, we're going to stay stuck in this pattern again today, tomorrow, and hopefully to a lesser extent as we go into the day on Wednesday. Some heavy rain beginning to work into Guilford County now from the south. So Greensboro, eastern areas of Guilford County towards Elon, going to get some heavy rain. We're already seeing some heavier rain that was just to the east of Asheboro over the past hour, kind of pivoting that line, pivoting a little bit to the east, and that is approaching Siler City from the west. Again, I want to point out these different colors on the radar tell us how the rain rate is panning out. When you see the yellow, orange, and especially the red, that means you're getting some heavy downpours. Now, we normally see the heavy downpours associated with severe storms, but in this case, we're not worried about any severe weather. The heavy rain is the concern that we're going to keep a close eye on. You can see a closer inspection of the rain moving north through the city of Greensboro right now. And then, of course, that extending Liberty, you're getting some heavy downpours right now, and also around Ramseur and down into eastern and northeastern areas of Moore County. And again, rain elements on the radar continue to track off to the north. So stay weather aware over the next several days. Of course, we'll be right here on WFMY News 2 or our WFMY Plus. We've got a schedule of cut-ins for the rest of today through the evening, and we'll continue that through the overnight period as well. Numbers continue to go up. Highest amounts over South Carolina and Georgia so far today, but these numbers continue to tick upward right here in our backyard as rain continues to fall. Boone, almost an inch and a half of rain now for today, and 0.34 out at PTI, and nearly a half of an inch of rain over at Charlotte. The big winner so far, or loser, whichever way you want to look at it, Winston-Salem has had just over an inch of rain. More rain to come for the Piedmont. We encourage you to stay with us on WFMY Plus. We'll continue to keep you updated. Maybe we can get through this rain event and not have any flash flooding, but if any warnings are issued, of course, we will let you know about that. We want you to stay safe, especially driving in the rain, and keep it right here. We'll keep you updated. Have a great and safe rest of your Monday.